Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us in yet another episode of Women in Business. My name is Maria Fraze, and I am your host. And guys, I have such a treat for you guys today. I am so excited to let you know that Candace from Pure Anada is actually here with me today. How are you, Candace?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Maria.
Yeah,
I'm excited to it's kind of fun.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for you to be here as well. So, Candace, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? And let's start with that.
Obviously I'm the owner and the founder of Pure Anada Cosmetics, which is a brand of makeup, skincare, body care made right here in Morden. And we sell our products across Canada through different other natural product retailers, and we have our own boutiques as well. And on a personal level, I have 5 kids actually. The youngest one is 6, and the oldest one is 18. So that's always kept me busy. And I live on an acreage just outside of Morden, like on 2 acres. And I kind of like that farmhouse lifestyle. So I try to make it happen. This year I bought some chicks actually, and my boys built a chicken coop. Now I have laying hens, and I'm having a lot of fun with that. Yeah,
that is cool. That is a lot of fun to being able to do those kind of things. So for sure, absolutely. So Candace, tell me a little bit about what prompted you to start Pure Anada? What prompted you to make the makeup, like to actually create it yourself? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, right. So the interesting thing about Pure Anada is I never started out with the goal, with the intent to start a business.
Okay.
It was like so far from my mind. Like I did not feel qualified in the least to do anything. Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was started out as a hobby. And how I got into that hobby was because I was a hairstylist at the time.
Okay.
And so many chemicals in the air, I guess, but I found that my body was starting to reject them. I had like rashes on my hands, and I'd have to take an antihistamine to get through the day. And then even my face was just always so red and inflamed. And then, you know, when that happens, you put more makeup on, and I always found that the makeup I was putting on was making it worse. So I did some research, and, you know, that was like, I guess maybe 20 years ago. There was like an infomercial on TV at the time for mineral makeup. And the concept of it was just, oh, it's so pure. It's just the mineral pigments, no other fillers or additives. And you put that on your face and it's, you know, much less irritating and such. So I got into that and it really worked for me. And then on my online browsing, I found some kits that you could buy, like DIY your own mineral makeup. And that was like right up my alley because I've always liked making things. Like I grew up in the 4-H world and learned by doing, right, and crafts. So that became my hobby. And it was just so exciting to create these colors. And then I'd bring in, you know, friends and family. Can I try to make a foundation for you, you know? And then eventually I had quite a lot of extra product because that's how it is when you DIY, right? You don't just make one for yourself. So I signed up for a craft sale. It was actually at the Winkler Southland Mall. They used to have a craft sale.
Yes, I remember that. I was part of those. So yeah.
And so I brought it there, and then I remember coming home that first Friday night and just over the moon exciting because I think I had sold $300 worth of product, and I came home and told my husband, this is it. Like, this is how we are going to save money for an adoption. Like, we actually had a call in our heart that we want to adopt a child, you know, and I knew it was really expensive. And so at the time, you know, I'm a hairdresser, my husband's a milkman, he delivers milk, and like, where are we going to come up with the extra money to do this adoption? And I thought, you know, hey, if I do craft sales over and over again, I'll raise enough money for this. And so that's exactly what happened. And then it actually grew to be a little bit more than that. So now it's like our family's livelihood. Yeah.
Wow, which is so awesome. I love that. I love that you took something that you just wanted to do. You wanted to make it yourself, and you did it, and you were able to create a product that people wanted to buy, and that they needed, technically, that they really did need.
And growing and learning. I mean, I didn't have the experience, no, but that's kind of a lesson in life too, right? That you can take anything and just keep researching, keep practicing, learning, growing, and never quitting to get to where you want to be. So
that's right. And the thing is, it's like that is what entrepreneurship is all about, is trying and going and not quitting, not giving up, right? So I want to just touch on something you said there that really actually hit home with me, is that you said that, you know, I never started this out to be a business. I just didn't feel like I was qualified and not think I was qualified to do that. So was there a place in your mind that kind of switched to say you were qualified, or does that feel different to you, like once you started making the makeup or anything like that?
You know what? I'd probably say I still don't feel qualified.
Okay.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Love
have
that.
to be in business. Yeah, I don't
Yes.
have like a background in chemistry. Like my qualifications, I feel more confident now for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like I've just had so many experiences and them all put together. I feel like, okay, we got this thing. But I know that it took several years. Like I always felt like I was playing business, like pretending, you know, when you're a child and you play store, I felt like I
Mm-hmm.
was pretending for so long. I didn't feel like a real business, you know, and then till all of a sudden, I don't know when that shift really happened, maybe about 5 years ago, suddenly I thought, okay, I think we're real now. So yeah.
I love that you said that, that maybe even some days you still don't feel like qualified in yourself, because I think a lot of people don't start businesses because they don't feel qualified, and
Right.
that they don't feel like they have it all together, or that they know it all, and that they should maybe know more about it before they start it and that kind of thing. So I really love that, because I think that hits home with a lot of women. So for sure, that is. So when you first started this business, so when you actually said, okay, this is actually going to make us money for this adoption, like, what did your day in and day out kind of look like then? Tell me a little bit about what that looked like.
Yeah, you know, I won't lie and say it was easy. It was like really stressful times. And sometimes I think to myself, it's one of those things, don't try this at home, ladies. But it's
That's exactly what you did. Yes. Okay.
anyway, it was chaotic because I had little children. And so every spare minute between my life, I was like doing something with my business. So if they were playing nicely together, like, oh, okay, I'll quickly go send that email off. And people say, you know, some advice is don't multitask, you know, have certain segregated times for different things. But if you have little kids, you can't do that. Like you have to just get it in wherever you can. So that's what I did when it was at home. And then we did end up getting our own space. It was on South Railway here in Morden, where cross country manufacturing is, my husband's workplace. We built a little workshop within that shop.
Okay.
So then I would, after I put the kids to bed, I would head down through town, and Tim Hortons had just opened up. So I'm embarrassed to say, but I was like fueled on French vanillas at that time. It had just the amount of sugar and caffeine. It let me go until 2 a.m. But I'd go down to that workshop and I would just work and work and work, and then come home and spend the day with the kids. So, but I can't explain. I think people are maybe born with a drive or a passion. I couldn't stop myself. I just really wanted to do it, and it was fun for me.
Right.
So
I
yeah.
love that. And the thing is, I think that too is about a mom who has, you had a passion behind it, and you had something, you had a goal for it.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, we can make the money for this adoption. We can make this work. I can make, and you have that passion, and that's what drives you when you're up until 2 a.m. And then you have to get up with kids throughout the night, and then you get up with them early and do all the schooling and all that kind of stuff. That is, it's a lot. It is a lot.
No. Yeah.
Right? Oh, I do. 100%, 100%. So I love that you're, touching on that, because those are parts of us that we sometimes think like, man, I just don't have the time to do this and that kind of thing. When you have the passion, you can run with it. And it doesn't last forever, but it does work.
Yeah, you crash sometimes, and the other thing too is kind of a bit of a sacrifice. Like you can't do everything. So I sometimes look at other moms and think, oh, I'm kind of sad that they get to go out for coffee and just casual things that I felt like, if I'm going to do this business, I actually don't have time for some of those extra things. Yeah. So you can't do everything. You kind of have to pick. Then if it's a priority, then that's what it has to be. So.
And you do have to prioritize when it comes to things like that. You do have to prioritize, no matter if you have children or not, because you still have lives outside of being employed, outside of running your own business. You still have a life outside of that, and you cannot do everything.
Yeah.
So you absolutely can't. And that's, I think sometimes, like I know I did that for many years, inside of coaching and everything else that I was doing. And then I'm trying to do all of the things outside of that, and then trying to make it so that I was, I looked like I had it all together, right? So, and I'm like, oh, forget it. This mask is gone. I'm not wearing that one. I do not have it all together, guys. I really don't, but I try my best to balance it. And I also like what you said too. Some people say you should have like segregated time for your business and be like, this is the times I work on that. That's not how I've ever worked either, because it's never like full blown. It's like I have to do something. I've said it so many times, it's like a symphony. And you play the instrument that needs to be played at this point.
Yes.
That's how I feel, is that you play that instrument whichever one needs playing right now, and it all makes the beautiful music in the end when you put it together as a recording.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
Thank you. That is good. So now what does your day-to-day look like now compared to then?
So I'm happy that it actually feels like it's a lot easier now. Like, number one, my kids are a bit older, so they're more self-sufficient and such. And then how I've grown my business over the years, I learned this in a leadership course, but to always take, your tasks that you're doing and see if you can delegate it to someone else, someone who maybe has a gift that could do it better than you're doing it. And I think it was called the law of the lid. If I try to do everything myself, I keep hitting that lid. I'm never going to go any further because I only have the gifts and capabilities that I have. But if I start to spread that out to other people, then my business can start to grow. And so like right now we have a fantastic team and everybody's doing something that I feel like they're really good at. And I'm so proud of that. And so it's not like I don't do anything anymore. Like I remember being in a little group of people one time and we were all talking about the different roles at Pure Anada, and someone said, well, Candace, what do you do? And I didn't have a chance to answer. And someone else said, she doesn't have to do anything. She's the boss. And everybody laughed. Yeah, and I didn't even get a chance to explain yet what I actually do. But so I feel like I'm kind of like the key decision maker, so everything ends up being my fault if it doesn't work out, which is
correct.
And almost like a consultant for everyone else on our team. So let's say Walia, who's now our lab manager, she'll come to me like several times a day and we'll talk about formulas because I've had some experience over the years. Or, our social media manager or our wholesale account manager, they'll, consistently throughout the day be in touch with me. How do we want to do this? What do you think about this? Or boutiques. So I feel like I'm kind of just a little bit in everything, just being the consultant and taking care of those those problems and key decisions, I suppose, which somehow works out to full time. So
it does absolutely. And you're like the conductor. There is a whole bunch of train cars, but you're the conductor who's you're keeping it on the rails. So that's exactly it. And the thing is, you've had all the experience, you've done all of the steps. Anything that anybody else is doing, you've had to do at some point. You've had to make sure that you fulfilled that role. So you kind of know all of the things, and that's how you work the business, right?
No, it puts me in such a nice, compassionate position as well, because if mistakes happen, like I've done them all myself too. Like I've shipping mistakes, I've dumped over, 200 lipsticks, I've made mistakes, and I've made all the mistakes. So it just helps me sympathize with what everyone else is going through. Like, don't worry, we'll get through this. I did that once too. So
and that is true. As somebody who's also made those mistakes, you do have the empathy for somebody who's, that kind of, it's really good. It's a wonderful thing to have that failure and that experience behind you.
Wonderful. Yes, exactly.
It totally is. So right now, with the code red restrictions, your shop is closed to the public for them to come in. But you guys are doing all your stuff online. People can order for curbside and shipping as well, I believe. Can you tell me a little bit about that, like how that's working?
Right. So it's actually working fairly well. We had to definitely do some shifting, but the good thing about the position we were in is that we already had an online store prior to this. Like, there's a lot of business who didn't, so they were scrambling to get everything online. So for us, we had an online store. We just had to put everything else online that we didn't have online, so it wasn't a problem. And then so now we have a little spot on our website. Is actually, if you go to our site, there's a shop local tab. It has a little bit of instruction for locals, because we always ship orders free if they're over $50. If you're local, you can choose the option to pick up in either of our stores or have it delivered. Actually, the Morden Chamber now has a delivery service. So you just mark in the comments, I want to pick this up in Morden, Winkler, or delivered, and then we'll take care of it. So yeah, we have it all lined up in alphabetical order. We've had a few glitches, but I think we got it going pretty good now. So that is awesome.
That is very awesome to be able to do those kind of things and to be able to pivot when we needed to. So that is really good. I like that you had the online store already, so it was easier for you to add the items on that were there. So you didn't have to start from scratch during a pandemic and try and figure that all out.
Yeah, for people who had to do that, that would be hard. Yeah,
I know, that's exactly right. For sure. I wouldn't want to have to be in that position to try and figure all of it out now on, spur of the moment kind of thing. So that is something we can be very thankful for that part. So if you could say, I want everyone to try one of my products. What do you think it would be? Do you have like something that you would be, because I know what I recommend to everybody who's talking about Pure Anada. There are a few things that I love, which is number one is the bath bombs. The bath bombs are my favorite thing. So that is something that I absolutely love, which I'll be ordering this week, later on this week, because I just love having that little bit of something where it just smells so wonderful, makes your skin feel so good. So the bath bombs are always my favorite. And the other thing is that I want to try that I saw on the stories, on Instagram stories, was the tropical body butter. Is that what it's called?
Yes, yes. We have a tropical scent. Yes, yes. And all of our scents are, well, if it has the Pure Anada logo on it, we use like organic natural flavors, which is kind of cool. So
that's cool.
You know, there's so many things that are wonderful to try. But if I put it out there, I mean, our mascara is our best-selling product. So I mean, a lot of people know that. So there's that. You know, our shea hand creams this time of year, they're going really well, and they always do. They're nice and rich and great for the winter time. So I think everybody should have a shea hand cream.
I think so too. I've tried it as well, and I absolutely love that as well. It's nice and rich, but it's not greasy. I like that. It's rich, but it's not greasy. So I like that as well for it. So it feels really good. And the scent, I'm a scent person all the way. So if it doesn't smell good, if it doesn't even smell, I'm like, I'm out. So I'm like, I just want all this good smelling stuff. That's how I buy hairspray. That's how I buy everything. It's like, does this smell good? So
what's interesting, one time, was it last year, we did a report, and our unscented range, like we have unscented skincare and body care, it was like best-selling products, and I was so shocked. And I'm the same as Mary. I'm like, why would you buy unscented when you could buy like cherry, right?
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Yes, you know, there's something for everyone then, right? So
and that's what I love too. And that gives such a general, you know, everyone, there's something for everyone. That's what I love, is that there's something for everyone. When you have the scented and you have the unscented and you have the different scents, it is whatever appeals to you, right? So sure. That is great. Well, Candace, I know that me and you have chatted about this, and you're going to give us a little tour of your packaging and your shipping plant. Tell me a little bit about that, and then we'll cut to a commercial and we'll take a look at that.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's exciting. I'll bring you through our factory. Now, keep in mind, we're in the thick of our busiest season. So everybody's like, oh, no, it's not clean enough for company. But yes, it's how it is, right?
Yes, totally.
I'll pan through and kind of get you to meet some of the people working in the back, which is kind of cool and fun. I may not be able to zoom in too close to some of the production we're doing, because another thing we do is we manufacture for other brands.
Okay, got it.
We sign these like really intense confidentiality agreements that they don't want anyone to know who produces. So, but you'll still get a good glimpse of what's going on there, and I think that'll be kind of fun.
I think so too. That is very exciting. So when I place my order later this week, I'm going to do a curbside pickup order. So, and then I'm going to put it on my Insta stories, and I will make sure I log kind of what's going on, and then I'll do a curbside pickup. And I think that'll be a lot of fun to see as well. So,
and on our social media, we have the @Pure Anada, which is our brand handle, and then we have the Pure Anada Boutique, which is our local handle.
Okay.
So that's another thing to keep in mind too, because we want to keep the locals in touch with different things that maybe our national brand. So
I did not know that. I didn't even know that. And I probably follow both of them on Instagram and never even made the connection. So awesome. Okay, well, we will keep that in mind. So we're going to cut to a commercial break, and then Candace is going to give us a really amazing tour here. So I'm very excited about that. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with you. We'll be back with you after this.
Okay. All right. Well, it's the same reference point.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Here we are, and I am so excited to be able to see that tour and go from there. And kind of, I'm always such a geek when it comes to those kind of things. I love learning, and I love seeing what's behind the scenes always. So I always do. I think because every time you look at a business, you don't always see the behind the scenes.
No.
You don't see the work that goes on behind the scenes. You don't see a lot of that. So I do love be a good tour. So that'll be great. So Candace, where can people find you then? Where is the best place for them to find you, to do shopping, to anything like that, to find out more about you?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously our website, which is pureanada.ca. And if someone's watching this who isn't local, they can click a link at the bottom that says our retailers. You might be able to find a store in Canada that sells our products. I want to support them as well. Yeah. And if you're local, of course, you can find our stores in Morden and Winkler here, and just, look online and find the addresses for those as well. And come on in once you're able. But for now, you can shop online.
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Well, Candace, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate it. And it has been just a pleasure to chat with you, like for real. So yes, absolutely. And I look really forward to being able to see you in the future and chat with you as well. And so I hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Yes, you too, Maria. Thanks for having me.
You betcha. Anytime. We'll see you later.